smart Tommy. Tommy's just Tommy. I think
Yeah.
Tommy's learned some stuff over the, Tommy's part ghost, part Kanan. Just like Tariq is part ghost, part Kanan. Because Tariq can bot from block to block if he needs to, too. Don't forget who comes up in his mind when he needs those lessons learned. But Tariq, to me, is more ghost, and Tommy's more Kanan. But they both need that other component to be successful in those streets.
Yo, I never even looked at it like that. That's so true.
Oh, yeah. What's going on, fam? It's your man, VACAY-J, and I'm back with a new video for the new Power Book for Force Season 1, Episode 1. And we're going to do a recap and review based on the first episode. Again, we've been waiting for this. Tommy finally has his own spinoff. And yes, there has been a lot revealed as we go into this and break this down. So let's break it all down, family. Let's do it. So we see Tommy, he's driving, he left New York. He's on his way to California, but at the same time, he's reminiscing about everything that he left behind, right? He left the streets of New York, he left the crew, and he had to let some people go. So he's driving, and he's driving pretty fast. He's really, really thinking a lot. Again, Ghost just got taken out, and now we're seeing, how he really feels about everything, right? All the trauma. Lakeisha's gone, Ghost is gone, he can't see Cash anymore. And yeah, he's really, really feeling some type of way. So he's driving pretty fast. I mean, he's going 85, 90, almost 100 miles per hour, but he's reminiscing on his brother being taken out by Tariq. And he's really, really upset about it. He's driving real fast. He's hearing Ghost's voice and his voice, and he just pulls over to the side. His car spirals out of control, and he screams, and he's really getting through the trauma of losing his brother. Again, no matter what they went through, that was his brother. And Tommy, just like a light bulb switched on. He's like, okay, I got to do what I got to do now. I'm moving on, moving forward. Everybody's gone. I got to make things happen. So he rolls up to Chicago, and he parks real quick, right? And everything is all good, right, so far, but he's getting an incoming call from Los Angeles. The people out in LA, they're waiting for him to come through so they can give him some work and do some work. And he's like, yo, when are you going to arrive? He's like, yeah, I gotta make a pit stop real quick, but I'll be there. He's like, yeah, I'm starting to think you're unreliable, right? So he's like, yeah, when I get there, when I see the Pacific Ocean, I'll let you know. So they're like, whatever. So Tommy, again, is now in Chicago. I have a feeling Tommy's been here before, but we haven't seen Tommy like Tommy today, right? We haven't seen Tommy like this in Chicago. So he's looking at a picture, and it looks like a little boy. The question is that little boy him, right? So he's looking on the back, and it looks like some Italian writing with some saying on it. So he's looking at this house, and needless to say, this is probably a house that somebody in his family owned. Maybe, an aunt or maybe a grandmother. And then all of a sudden, this guy jumps out and hits his car. And he's like, car tax. And he's like, he's like, yeah, this is all private parking out here. This is a Chicago sign for private parking. And I'm here to collect the tax, right? I mean, he's showing them all these different symbols. Like, when you see this, that means don't park here, right? When you see this yellow chair, that means it's private parking. And yeah, it's time to collect, right? So he pulls out a little small little weapon. And Tommy's like, come on, man. Like, seriously? So he shows him the strap. Like, come on, man, with that little knife, man. You bringing a knife to a gunfight. He's like, man. The guy's like, yeah, you bringing a knife to a gunfight. He's like, give me the knife, man. Give me. Tommy's like, give me the knife. Give me the knife. Gives him the knife, slaps him in the head. And it's like, yo, like, seriously, dog? Right? So he's like, that hurts when in the cold, right? Tommy's funny. So he hit him in the head, and he's like, all right, listen, anybody know what happened to the old lady where they buried the old lady in that house. And he's like, old lady? Nah, she's at this spot. She's at this, old folks' place, right? And he's like, what is that? He says Malaren, whatever the name is, right? So he finds out that this lady, he's asking about an old lady, is at this particular place. And it's probably a senior home, senior community, or whatever it is. So it's obvious that Tommy is trying to find an old lady. It probably is his grandmother, right? So it's called Mulhern, right? He says Mulhern. What the heck is Mulhern, right? So he walks up in the spot. I mean, Tommy. Tommy's not calling for an appointment. He's not trying to find out anything. He's just going to walk up into the spot. Don't care who's there, but he's looking for an old lady. And again, we're assuming that this old lady is his grandmother, right? So he's looking through, he's seeing the older folks. As he's walking through, he's looking for, this old lady that he's been asking about. And again, we're going to find out a whole lot more as the season goes by. And he sees her, but she looks like she is out of it. She looks like she's not coherent at all. So Tommy finally sees her. He's like, okay. And then he leaves. So now we shoot over to the jailhouse and we see Diamond, new character Diamond. And we see the CO. And Diamond, obviously, he's cutting hair. And he's a barber, but he's inside of the jail, right? We're going to find out more about Diamond. But as he is moving the razor, he's picking it up, putting it down, he has to tell the CO, hey, I'm picking up the razor, putting it down. And he's, obviously giving a cut to a CO, an older gentleman. And this older gentleman is just telling him, say, yeah, you need to hurry up with that. And Diamond's just like, hey, man, I got to make sure this is good because, the next time I see you, I don't want it to be all locked up, right? He's trying to make sure his haircut is good. And, the older gentleman's like, yo, man, there shouldn't be a next time. I don't want to see you next time. Once you walk out those gates, don't look back. Don't look back. So it's obvious that he was a mentor to Diamond in some type of way, shape, or form. He's still telling the CEO, hey, I'm putting the razor down now. And he's like, okay, I see you putting the razor down. So again, the old man is just like, hey, listen, this is your last day. Just don't look back. Just go out there, make something of yourself. Don't get back in here at all. Right. So it's like, I guess that's like his pops there. You know what I mean? It's like a mentor to him or whatever. And Diamond's like, yeah, okay, I'm going to miss you too, old man. So it's obvious that he was a mentor to Diamond, which is cool. So today seems to be Diamond's last day and he's about to leave, right? So he's going back to his cell and all these cats is looking at him. When it's your last day, you got some haters out there. And we see the YouTuber, J Mo. What's up? Shout out to J Mo, man. That's what's up. Congratulations, bro. Getting your role up in the Power Book universe. Salute to you. But he's playing a hating dude with his squad, talking about, yeah, we're going to wait till he gets comfortable outside and then we're going to make the call. Now we shoot over to the bar and we see the new love interest, right? And she looks beautiful. Got the little Jamaican flag in the background. So I'm having a feeling that she got a little Jamaican in her. But we see Tommy and he's meeting this young lady for the very first time. And this is where we see for the very first time where Tommy meets Gloria. And she sees him and she's looking like she's feeling him or whatever. And he comes in there and she's definitely like, okay, who is this guy? I've never seen him before. And yeah, she gives him a drink and, she's smiling at him, kind of wink, kind of leaning into Tommy like she's definitely interested. And she's like, hey, you look like you had a day and it's only 11 o'clock, like here, take a drink, right? And he's kind of smirking like, yeah, how you know all that? How you know all that? And, she's just like, yeah, I mean, it's my job to read people. I'm a bartender. I can read a whole lot of things. And she's smiling at him, smirking at him and the whole nine because she, it's the first time she's seen this guy. but it's obvious that she's really feeling Tommy. You know, Tommy coming through, representing New York and Chicago. You know how it goes down, right? So yeah, he's just on some like, okay, you know, you could read stuff, huh? Like, what else can you read? And she's like, yeah, I can read signs, I can read this, I can read that. And you know, they get into a little conversation, and it's obvious that, you know, Tommy's kind of feeling her too. You know, but you know, Tommy's keeping it cool. You know, he's playing it real cool. Like, yeah, I don't really know this girl. I don't really trust this girl. I don't really trust anybody at this point, but I gotta be cool about the whole thing. So she's definitely pouring some more, trying to get him to relax in the whole nine. She tells him to come back for some good food. Now, meanwhile, we got Diamond, and Diamond is about to get out. He got his Chicago Bulls jacket on, and the CO is giving him all his stuff back. And he's talking to him, and he's talking about his Jordans. He's like, yeah, man, you know, these on this website, you can get a whole lot of money. And he's like, I don't know about that. He's like, yeah, I'll give you $150 for that. $150 for the Jordans. And he's like, I don't know about that, but I know they're worth way more than $150. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, it's all good. So what they do is, just to encourage him to stay on the straight and narrow, they give him like a barber set. He said it's not much, but at least it'll get you started and keep you on the right track so you can stay out of here, you know? So it's obvious he's done 15 years, his 15-year sentence. And yeah, he actually created a relationship with the CEOs as well. So, you know, he basically is like, all right, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? He got his 6-time win Chicago Bulls jacket on, and he's gone. But the Jordans are still on the counter. He left the Jordans there. So Diamond is walking out basically in his socks, but he is like real happy. He's real happy. Why? Because his brother Jenard is there to pick him up, there to scoop him out as soon as he gets out of the pen, right? I mean, that's a good feeling when your fam definitely comes to pick you up. So he's definitely happy to see him. And you know, it's definitely a great thing. They're brothers. And yeah, it seemed like been a very long time, 15 years. So he's like, yo, where's your J's at? Yo, somebody took your J's. And then Jenard is like, yeah, let me get at him. And then Diamond's like, nah, I left it there. He's like, all right, man, let's go. So he's in his socks. He sees some water. He puts his hand in the water. He's like, yo, it doesn't rain on the inside? He's like, nah, it's not that. It's just out here, it just feels different, you know? Now that he's free, he's now going to have to rehabilitate into society and basically keep it moving, okay? So now we shoot over, and Tommy is outside of this restaurant. I guess he's waiting for a certain time. And Vic comes up, rolls up. He's like, yo, get out the spot, move out of the spot. He's like, man, you're talking to the wrong person. Tommy's like, what is up with this parking? What is up with this city and parking? Tommy's like, yo, keep it moving, man. Like, keep it moving. Man. And Vic Flynn is like, listen, man, I'm not going to ask you a second time. Move your car. And of course, Tommy's like, I kind of feel like this is the second time you're asking me. You know what I'm saying? So Vic gets out the car. Of course, you know, the other guy gets out the car. Simon gets out the car. And he's like, yeah, man, like, get out of here, Boston. He's like, Boston? So an older gentleman gets out the car. He's like, listen, you know, you guys go inside and handle your business. What are you guys, 12? And then he goes over to Tommy. He's like, listen, we're on a schedule. And, you know, my boss would appreciate it if you would, you know, move your vehicle. He's like, see? And Tommy's like, see? Talking to Vic Flynn. See? That's how you ask somebody to move their car. He's like, sure, no problem. So we already got a problem with Vic Flynn and the whole organization. And Tommy just got there. Like, what's going on, Tommy? So now we shoot over to the office and we see Gloria Flynn, and she is sitting in Walter Flynn's seat. And again, that's her father. He is the head of the organization there. And it seems like the Flynns are definitely, you know, an organization that is running the show in Chicago. But she is sitting in his seat, laid back, drinking on his bourbon and everything else like that. And he's like, I see you. And she's like, yeah, I was just keeping the seat warm or whatever. And she really seems like she wants to do more for the organization. So, you know, he's like, I see what you're trying to do. And he's kind of like, yeah, you're in position for a reason. And he walks over to her. He's like, yeah, I see you want to run the show. I see you want to be your own boss. I see, exactly what you're trying to do. But it's all good. I need you to be in position. I need you to handle the books. He's like, how are the books? She's like, yeah, the books are fine and everything else like that. But she obviously wants to do more in her daddy's eyes. She wants to be more of a leader. And she's asking him, is there any more that I can do? I can do more. And he's like, nah, I just need you to just play your position. It's obvious that it's a male-dominated thing there, and he doesn't want his daughter to get hurt at the same time. So she's really on some like, what can I do? He's like, let me see your arms. Let me see your arms. So he's like, listen, what can these arms do? If you got into a fight, if you got physical, what can these little arms do? And basically he's just saying like, yo, you're not ready to really be out there in the streets. We already got somebody out there in the streets. Don't worry about it. Just play your position. I need you in that position. So now, Tommy moved his car, but he came back. He's not in front anymore. So the older gentleman comes to him. He's like, hey, he gives him a cigarette. He's like, hey, I like how you handled yourself. You handled yourself with restraint and everything, and really just trying to get on Tommy's good side, because it seems like Tommy's not going anywhere. He's like, yeah, so how long are you staying in Chicago? And, Tommy's like, I don't know, as long as I want to, you know what I'm saying? And the older gentleman's just like, hey, I didn't get your name. And Tommy's like, I didn't catch it. That's that New York wit right there. He's like, I didn't throw my name, you know what I mean? So Tommy's just really not making a lot of friends. So now we see that Gloria is talking to Vic Flynn. And it's obvious that they used to have something going on, because she's just talking to him about, how it's not going to work out. And he's trying to get her to go away with him to, some place or whatever the case is. But she's not really feeling him anymore. She's like, yeah, your father and what you guys do. So she knows what they do and how they run organizations and how they're part of the system in Chicago, right? The power system that's in Chicago. And Vic is like, yo, it's not about my dad and it's not about the money. And she's just like, yes, it is. And I don't want to have anything to do with it. So it's obvious that they used to have a thing going on, but Gloria's trying to move forward and trying to move on, right? And we know that she's about to move on with Tommy. So Vic comes out after he handles his business inside. And the older gentleman is looking at Tommy, looking at Vic like, yo, Tommy about to do something. And the older guy's just like, yeah, don't even think about it. It's going to cause you more problems if you do anything. You know what I'm saying? So just let it go. Don't even think about doing anything. Just let it go. Like, keep having that restraint that you have. So Tommy's like, in his mind, he ain't saying nothing out loud, but in his mind, he's like, all right, I'm going to listen to you this time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Tommy is just really being cool, but everybody else is being on some, like, who are you, new guy? Like, you shouldn't even be here. So Tommy goes inside. And he goes inside, and yeah, Gloria is happy to see Tommy. She's like, oh, you came back. And Tommy's like, yeah, I was promised some real good food. So he's obviously interested in her, but at the same time coming back because I'm sure he's hungry because he haven't even eaten, right? So Gloria pours him a drink. He's like, nah, that's not my drink. We see Simon, the other goon. He's talking to a young lady, and she's like, yo, get off me. And she's like, she has a problem because he's coming on to her pretty strong. So Gloria goes over there, talks to the young lady, like, are you okay? She's telling Simon to, like, get out of here. Like, again, you finish your job. Like, just get out. Just go. You don't need to be here, right? So he puts his hands on her. He's like, watch who you talking to. And she's like, listen, you're a bad boy. And, like, you don't have no authority. She's like, get off me. Like, let me go. So we see she's a little tough or whatever. So Simon lets her go, and she goes back over to Tommy. But it's obvious that Simon, he's a jerk, right? So Tommy is hearing all of this. He's feeling the vibe. He sees what's going on. So, Gloria's like, hey, listen, I'm going to bring out some food. It'll be ready in 5 minutes. Tommy leaves out back because she sees that guy, Simon. He's out there doing his thing, and he's on the phone. So Tommy's like, he goes out back to do some things, right? So Tommy's like, yo, what's up? And the guy's like, yo, what's up, punk? Right? And of course, they get into it. And of course, Tommy beats him down and basically breaks his arm on the rail. And he's like, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. Right? So he beats the dude down and he takes his phone, right? Takes his phone and the whole nine. Like, this dude is begging for Tommy not to do what he did, but he did what he did. And Gloria comes out back and she's like, well, this is going to be some blowback. And he's like, well, I hope it doesn't blow back on you. You know, is this going to blow back on you? He's like, she's like, nah, not really. I mean, it is what it is. But he's about to leave and she's like, yo, your soup is ready. Yeah, your soup is ready. So Tommy's like, oh, okay, my soup is ready now, right? So it's obvious that, what Tommy is and what he represents, that alpha male, she's into that. And yeah, they have a little discussion. I would say it like that. So Tommy's like, yeah, were you in the service? She was like, yeah, my husband was, but he passed. And Tommy's just like, yeah, it was the wrong people dying, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he thinks about and reminisces about Cash and looks at the engagement ring that he was going to give Lakeisha, right? So she's also talking about, the loss of her husband and everything. And they're kind of bonding a little bit, kind of bonding a little bit about, their other significant others and the past and everything else like that. So, Tommy has a moment to kind of like lay back a little bit, but he gets a text on the guy's phone from Vic to meet him at a certain spot. So Tommy's like, yo, I gotta go, gotta bounce. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna talk to you soon. It is what it is. Thanks for the soup. He's like, thanks for the soup. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I'll talk to you later. So she's like, yeah, it's been nice. We're gonna talk again, right? So it is what it is. Now, we see Vic Flynn. He's trying to call, Simon, right? And the phone rings and he's like, he hears the phone, Simon's phone ring. And yeah, there's a shot in the windshield, right? From a strap. And guess who it is? You already know who's on the other side of that. Like 2 shots, it missed Vic. But he's like, next time, these rounds are gonna be going into you, right? So he shows Vic, yeah, I have Simon's phone. He's like, all right, give up the strap. Like, give me the strap, take the strap out, right? So Tommy is basically, right, about to really get in deep. And he's like, yo, take me to your connect. I mean, Tommy is not playing. He is not wasting the time. He sees that Vic is not on point. So he's taking advantage of that, took his strap. He's like, yo, take me to your connect. Right? So they go downstairs. He's like, yo, open the door, man. He's like, he has these lines, man. Like, there's some lines that I can't even really say, but Tommy has these lines, man. Like, I don't give 2 Fs, right? So Tommy's really like, yo, just take me to your connect, man. Stop playing. Let me know how many people's going to be there. So they go down to this basement area, and we see these 2 guys, and we see Jenard there, right? So they're a little bit confused, like, what's going on? Like, why is Jenard there? Why is the CBI there? And they're going back and forth about it. And Tommy's like, yo, everybody just calm down because, we just want to get the product, whatever, for the money. Like, use the money, get the product, and we'll be out. But these guys are super nervous. Like, it's the first time they're doing stuff, and it doesn't even feel right. It doesn't feel right at all. These guys obviously are there to, give some bad product to get some money, right? So Jenard is there. He's like, yo, who is this dude? And Tommy, he's the professional, man. He's the consummate professional. And he's like, all right, guys, this is your first deal. Listen, do you even know if the product is stepped on or anything else like that? And it was like, oh, I didn't think of that. And Jenard is like, yo, who is this guy? And Vic is just like, yo, like, he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have a strap because Tommy has a strap. So Tommy's just talking to these kids, trying to walk them through how this process works. But these guys are super nervous. They're just nervous. They don't know what they're doing. And of course, Tommy's done a million deals. So he's like, all right, Vic, pay them the money so we can get the product and then we can get up out of here. But he turns to Vic and he's like, you got the money, right? And Vic is just like, I got some of it. So Tommy's like, what? You only got some of the money? Like, what is wrong with you? Jenard talks to him like, yo, what are you even doing here? What are the Flynns even doing here? This is a CBI thing. And they're going back and forth. And Tommy's just on some like, yo, listen, you guys are tripping right now. Like, how do y'all do business? He's finding out these cats are not really on point with how they do business, right? And how it's supposed to go down. So there's supposed to be a deal with CBI, which is Jenard. And then here comes, Vic Flynn. He's supposed to have a deal with them as well. So again, the guy, he's like, I didn't know about stepped on. I didn't know about this. He doesn't know what he's doing. And Tommy's breaking them down, right? But they're just really, really on some nervous energy. And Tommy doesn't like that. He's putting his hands up like, yo, just be cool, man. Just be cool. But all in all, you know what happens. The guys get scared and then they start bussing. They start bussing on Vic, on Jenard, on, Tommy. And Tommy's just on some like, yo, these folks here, they're just not on point at all. So Tommy takes out these two jokers, right? He lets them know how many rounds he has left and everything. And he's like, Vic was like, yeah, man, if I have my strap, this wouldn't happen, right? So he gives him the strap. He's like, yo, you got one left. And Jenard and Vic point their guns at him. Jenard tried to bust, but his gun jammed. So he's like, listen, Tommy's like, listen, if it wasn't for me, both of y'all be dead right now. And y'all know it. You know what I'm saying? So give me the product, give me the money so I could do what I got to do. It comes with a price because I saved your life, right? So Tommy's already doing business and he's only been there for one day. He's already up and running with some business as far as saving these guys and making them give him the product and also the money, right? Jenard is just like, yo, that's my product right there. And Tommy just takes everything and walks off. So now the next day we see your boy Diamond. He's basically was sleeping on the floor because, he's used to sleeping on hard surfaces or whatever. So he couldn't really sleep on the bed. He goes outside with his brother Jenard. And Jenard is telling him about what happened the night before. How this white dude, basically saved his gun jamming ass. And Diamond's just talking to him like, yo, so you telling me that this crazy white guy saved you from being, taken out in the whole nine, you and Vic Flynn. And he's like, yeah, man, this guy came out of nowhere, man. For real. And then he took everything. He took the product and the money. He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, he took it like Casper the ghost. You know what I'm saying? Like a ghost. And that's the funny part, like ghosts. So Diamond's like, all right, we're gonna see what's going on with this guy. You know what I'm saying? So again, remember, Diamond has been locked down for 15 years, but he's definitely a changed person, but he's listening to what's going on. Then we got Vic and Claudia, right? And Vic is telling Claudia about what happened as well and about how this renegade guy came through and he basically took this, that, and the third. But she's just trying to get him to make better decisions. She obviously is the smarter one. And she's like, yeah, we don't need to get into any powder or none of that stuff right now. You're going to mess up the business. We don't really need to get into some janky stuff. Like we're into it, but we don't need to get you into some janky stuff that's going on. So she basically is telling him to watch his back and be careful, just be careful. But of course, him being, having the ego and everything like that, not really listening to his sister. He's like, yo, don't worry about me, worry about yourself, right? So now we got Tommy. He's in his mobile office, right? Because he don't got no place to stay. So he's looking up, Walter Flynn and who they are in Chicago and everything else like that. So he's doing some research. He's doing some recon on these people so he can find out exactly who he's up against. And then he sees, Diamond and that sentence on Diamond with the CBI and everything, 15 years. So now Tommy goes to the retirement home, to the senior community, whatever it is. and he walks in on his grandma. Again, we're gonna make the assumption that's his grandma. So he walks in, he's like, hey, how you doing? Haven't seen you since I was a kid. You know, do you remember me? Do you remember me? And she obviously looks like she's out of it. You know, maybe it's the medicine, the medication, whatever it is, but you know, she's definitely out of it right now. You know, almost vegetated, right? Almost like in a vegetated state. But he's talking to her like, hey, you remember me? And he pulls out the picture, right? His picture. It looks like a picture of him, and then he turns it around and it has the Italian inscription on it, right? Whatever that is. You guys who know, definitely break it down for me. And she's just like, yeah, it's Tommy. And she's like, Tommy, right? So Tommy's happy that she remembered him. She remembered the name. But then she drifts back into her, you know, non-cognitive state. So Tommy obviously is just walking away. He's like, let me get out of here. And some guy rolls behind Tommy. Of course, Tommy pulls out the strap. He's like, yo, who sent you? And then this guy, JJ Gibbs, is just like, yo, who are you? You know, like nobody has visited, you know, this lady in such a long time except for me. So he's like, yo, who are you? And he's like, I'm her grandson. And he shows him the picture with the inscription on the back. And he's like, who are you? And then JJ Gibbs just turns around and pulls his sleeve up, and he shows them the same wording, You guys who are Italian out there, you know what it is. Definitely break it down for me. Let me know. So we're now finding out that Tommy has an Italian and African-American brother. And yeah, he's in Chicago, right? I'm going to find out his father took care of him, but his father told him that his mother was dead. So they have the same mother, obviously different dads. And Tommy's just like, man, this is like crazy to wrap my head around it. I got a brother and he lives in Chicago and we have the same grandmother, right? So now JJ Gibbs, he wants to know who his mother is. And he's like, Tommy's like, you don't want to know her. Like, she's just not a person that you want to get to know. She's pretty terrible. You know, he's like, listen, you got the better end of the stick. Your dad raised you. My dad didn't raise me. So, you know, he's like, hey, how about we exchange numbers? So JJ Gibbs is like, hey, let's exchange numbers and you can call me or whatever, right? So Tommy got his number and it is what it is. So now we got Diamond and we got Jenard, and they walk up in this barber shop, right? And, you know, again, Diamond is a barber. You know, he probably was a barber before he went in, while he was in, and now he's out, right? He did 15 years. So they walk up in this spot, and it's a barbershop that they used to come to, you know, probably when they were kids and they grew up there and they got their haircuts there. And, you know, come to find out that being that Diamond's a barber now, your boy Jenard pretty much bought the whole entire building. And now Diamond owns the building. It's his. Jenard gave it to him. All you got to do is, you know, pay the property tax or whatever. But he's saying everything is taken care of. So he takes care of him. He's like, man, you know, Diamond, you look good in that chair. And, you know, maybe in a couple days you can open up, put a fresh can of paint on the walls and just get this thing going. And he's like, yeah, man, this is the CBI way. You know, this is where we started, but I'm a changed man now. You know, I'm no longer wilding out and just popping off just like that. You know, I'm not that same person. So Jenard is like, yo, listen, man, a lot changed in 15 years, man. But he said, listen, we going to get together later. I'm going to go take care of this, but I'm going to take you out, man. I'm going to let you see, you know, what it's all about, man. And we're going to take care of you and get you to have a good time, right? So Diamond is back in Chicago to do his thing. Of course, your boy Tommy, he needs some gas, right? He got the money and he got some product. So now, he's going to get some gas, and he looks at his brother's phone number that he gave him, and then he throws it out. It's like, why did you throw your brother's number out, right? And then all of a sudden, he's kind of like, dang. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't want to do the same things that he did before. So he reaches back in the garbage to get his brother's phone number. And he's like, man, I need to get myself together, man. I need to change. Basically, he's like, I want to change. I want to stay connected. You know, it's okay. So now some gentleman walks up in the barbershop. We don't know who this guy is. right? And Diamond's just like, hey, we're not open until a couple of days. When you come back, definitely I'll be able to take care of you, right? So the guy walks in there real comfortable. He's like, yeah, I love this barbershop. I love this barbershop. And he goes and sits down and pulls up the paper. Like he's not even listening to Diamond. Like, yo, they're not open. But he's like, hey, yeah, hold on 1 second, right? So Diamond's just like, yo, let me reach for this knife real quick just to protect myself. But the guy reaches for his phone and he shows his badge. He's obviously he's a detective or he's a cop or whatever. And he's like, okay, so if I come back in a couple of days, you're gonna be able to trim me up? He's like, yeah. Diamond's like, yeah, and it's gonna be on the house, right? It's gonna be on the house. Now that he kind of knows who he is. And the guy is just like, listen, it's all good, but I like to pay my way. And he's like, welcome home, Diamond. So he knows who Diamond is, and Diamond's just trying to stay clean. So now we got Tommy, and he's talking to Los Angeles, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna be there. But he gets pulled over by the Flynn mob. I'm gonna call him the Flynn mob. And the guy's just like, all right, get back in your car and drive and follow me, right? So Tommy follows, the guys to this place, and he finally meets Walter Flynn. And Walter Flynn is like, yes, my crew has taken a liking to you. They like how you move. He's like, what are you doing here? You're in my city. How long are you going to stay in my city? And basically he's like, hey, listen, you're welcome. Your welcome here is over. Like, it's time for you to go. But he shakes his hand like, yeah, thanks for coming. Like, thanks for coming out. But yeah, you're going to have to go. But first he starts talking about all this stuff, like all these things that's going on, like talking in riddles and all of that. And Tommy, Tommy, he's like, yo, can we not talk in riddles? Like, can you let me know why I'm here? You know what I'm saying? And he's basically just like, hey, listen, it's been cool. Nice to meet you, but it's time to move on. Like, where are you headed? He's like, yeah, I'm going to California. He's like, okay, when do you plan on leaving? And you can tell that Tommy is really not feeling this whole questioning thing. He doesn't like to be questioned, So Vic shows up. He's like, sorry, I'm late. And Walter's like, it's all right. He was just leaving, right? He was just leaving. So this is a warning to Tommy to leave Chicago. Meanwhile, Tommy is driving and he's looking like he's about to leave, but he gets on the phone with LA and he's like, hey, listen, I'm my own boss now. I don't work for you. And in fact, I'm going to stay in Chicago, going to do some things out here. So you know what? Forget about it. I'm going to run my own thing right now. So he turns around and he goes back to Chicago. And that is the end of episode 1 of season 1 of Power Book 4 Force with Tommy Egan. Listen, fam. That was the first episode. It's definitely going to heat up. This is the setup to everything else. But we're finding out a whole lot of things. I mean, Tommy has a black brother, right? And, he lost Ghost, but then he gained a brother in Chicago that he's just now meeting. He's meeting the Flynns. I mean, it's a whole lot going on. But we're looking forward to season 2. So definitely look out for my What's Next video for the next episode of Power Book 4 Force. And you know what it is. Definitely drop your thoughts and your theories. And if you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and absolutely like and comment below. And you know what it is. It's your man, VACAY-J. And until next time, salute.